going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a new Madden 24 rebuild, where we're going to be rebuilding last year's main channel franchise. We dusted off the Keith Taylor jersey. It is time to rebuild the Carolina Panthers with their shiny, brand new superstar, awesome, elite S-tier quarterback, Bryce Young. They got themselves a shiny new head coach in Frank Reich, who was absolutely awesome in Philadelphia. So I'm really pulling for him to be able to turn this team around, along with myself, and get these Panthers not only into a Super Bowl, but to win a Super Bowl, maybe a couple. Let's meet our Carolina Panthers roster. So they traded a lot to secure the services of Bryce Young. At the end of this year, we are not going to have a first-round pick. We also don't have a really good wide receiver, as DJ Moore got shipped off to the Chicago Bears in that trade. I think the juice is going to be worth the squeeze, though. Bryce Young is a very special player, and as long as you can get over the fact that he's 5'10", he has incredible traits that I will be absolutely shocked if they don't transition to the NFL. But something that I've talked about in relation to this gigantic trade that happened before the draft between the Panthers and the Bears is the Bears had a Justin Fields problem last year. And I don't know if it was so much on Justin Fields as it was they had no weapons. So that is why they decided to make that trade their top overall pick to get DJ Moore in the building. Now Justin Fields has weapons, but an unknown, not talked about aspect of this trade, you might not have saw it when the transaction went through on the wire, is that the Chicago Bears traded no wide receiver one-itis to the Carolina Panthers. So now Bryce Young is going to be going through the same challenge that Justin Fields was going through with Chicago, and that is not having an elite receiver. And that is what you need in today's NFL. I don't think we're going to be able to get back to the days of like Tom Brady when he had nothing in New England and still was able to have a really potent offense. You need playmakers, you need studs. And looking at what we have here in Carolina, could be worse, right? You got a veteran at Adam Thielen, long-term for a rebuild, not ideal, but I mean solid for the time being. You got DJ Chark, height, weight, speed veteran. Jonathan Mingo is one of my favorite wide receivers in the draft class out of Ole Miss. He is hopefully going to become our wide receiver one, and really out of the entirety of our wide receiver room, he's the only guy that I can project is going to be here in 5 years. We're going to go with Adam Thielen in the slot with Chark and Mingo on the outside, so hopefully that's going to allow. Honestly, I won't go that crazy and make him our wide receiver one, but I definitely want to see a big season out of Mingo. We got Laviska Shenault and Terrace Marshall have some upside as well, but maybe just not a lot of opportunities early on. Hayden Hurst, Tommy Tremble are kind of our 1-2 punch at tight end, and like Hurst is like the Thielen of the tight end room. Not really a whole lot more ceiling, kind of at his ceiling, so likely need to find a replacement there at tight end long term. The Panthers signed Miles Sanders away from the Philadelphia Eagles. Like saying as an Eagles fan, solid running back. If he stays healthy, he's a solid guy. I think a big thing is for him to get back to catching the football. First year or two in Philadelphia, he was a do-it-all running back. He could catch 40, 50 balls. And, you know, you always got to talk about that for the running back spot in Carolina, because almost everybody right now, at least for recent memory and recent history, is going to be compared to Christian McCaffrey. Can Miles Sanders kind of be a Christian McCaffrey? Not really. But he's also solid. He's 26 years old. We're going to have a nice 2-3 years of his prime, and that's a nice little asset to be able to hand the ball off for Bryce Young, so it's not going to be him carrying the entirety of the offense on his shoulders. Shout out Chuba Hubbard at RB2 as well. The offensive line, not bad. We have Turnstile Taylor Moton, who was pretty bad for us last year. I mean, we obviously can call back to some of these guys from our Madden 23 Panthers franchise, but hopefully he's better in the sim. Oscar Corbett's a solid guard. Bozeman's a solid center. Brad Christensen, did they give him a face scan? No, oh man. Screw the first round picks. Whenever we get that first title update closer to the game's official release, I better see a Brad Christensen face scan. And the bell of the ball in the offensive line is Ike Ekwonu, who still has his superstar dev. And if you're gonna be fair, maybe this is a little bit of like an old school way of thinking, but like before, when you were trying to prioritize your offense, like if you had to like order what you want to get in line first, it's always quarterback at 1, and number 2 for the longest time, and still probably is, depending on who you ask, is your franchise tackle. We have those 2 pieces in place. The rest of this, I don't know. I'm going to say it's going to look very different from right now where we are when it comes around to year 5. But I tell you right now, Ike Ekwonu and Bryce Young are going to be here. Hopefully Jonathan Mingo is going to be here. Hopefully Miles Sanders is like an X-Factor veteran at this point that has made Carolina Panthers fans somehow be like Christian McCaffrey who. Expectations very high for the offense. On the defense, they're going to a 3-4. I thought they got an outstanding coaching staff. Frank Reich kind of controlling the offense. They got Evero from the Broncos, really good DC. However, don't necessarily know how good of a switch the Panthers are going to be switching to a 3-4. Defensive line, I have concerns because really we got like kind of depth guys and Derek Brown. Derek Brown, 84. Is Derek Brown going to be able to be a defensive end? Or at 320 pounds, is he going to be a guy that eventually you want to move inside to like a nose tackle? Because that is, you know, kind of the outside perimeters for a nose tackle. So we're going to have to figure out what Derek Brown's best position is going to be on the defense. But because he has the most upside, we are going to start with him as a pass rusher, I guess, or just a defensive end. Our primary pass rusher, we got Frankie Louvu, who's kind of just a versatile weapon. And Brian Burns. Brian Burns is the star of this defense right now. He's our lone superstar player. Big old number 0. He was ridiculous for us last year in Madden 23. I hope the same can continue here. An issue in Madden 23 was our 3-4 teams never really simmed out well. They never really got a lot of pressure after the quarterback. Struggled to find a scheme that gives sacks. So with the improvements of Madden 24 in the playbooks, hopefully we find a way to get home to the quarterback here. And Brian Burns is that double-digit sack getter that we really need him to be on the defensive side of the ball. You have Shaq Thompson and Deion Jones in the middle of the defense. Von Bell, Jeremy Chin at safety. So, like, you know, pretty versatile players. We're going to have Jeremy Chin play a little bit of sub-linebacker as well alongside Shaq Thompson. They got Jamie Robinson, the rookie out of Florida State. I think there's some upside there. And then the corners. Like, that was our best aspect of our Madden 23 Panthers team. Our secondary was ridiculous. We were able to get double-digit picks with J.C. Horn. We were able to get fringe double-digit picks with Dante Jackson and C.J. Henderson. And, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Keith Taylor. I'm telling you right now, much as we said on the offense, they're like, all right, Ike Ekwonu, Bryce Young. Those might be the only 2 guys that are here for the full 5 years of this rebuild. I will make a promise, more so than Brian Burns, Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, or Jeremy Chin, come year 5, when the confetti is falling, and it is blue and black, the first guy that's going to be under there hoisting that Super Bowl is going to be Keith freaking Taylor. What an absolute legend, Madden 23 icon, and a big reason why today we're making the Panthers a rebuild team. So without further ado, let's get into year 1 of this rebuild. Tell you what, it takes me twice as long to record rebuilds now in Madden 24 because I always just kind of play these. It's nice, it's a good boost, especially silver is medium hard to get, but when you get it, it's like 1 skill point and you get rookie snaps if I'm using a rookie player. So I've already gone ahead. I did rushing attack. I got silver. Actually, I got gold with Miles Sanders in rushing attack. I got silver in wide receiver battle with Mingo, so that's 1 skill point. I got silver in trench battle with Derek Brown, but now it is time to see just how ready Bryce Young is. We're going to throw him in target passing, try to get that goal. All right, let's go into our targets here. Feel like we can get at least silver. We go. We got just smashed one. Gets the multiplier going. Boom. Got the multiplier going again. Great catch. DJ Chark on the outside. Oh, that's a dot. Hayden Hurst across the middle. Come on, give me silver. What a throw. On the run. Bronze earned. Oh, that one right there. Beauty. Touchdown. Hayden Hurst stacking the multiplier. This one's going to be a little tough. Let's see if we can get this to Adam Thielen. Cross the middle. Makes the grab. And barring a botch job here, we should be able to get at least silver. Thielen makes the grab there. Silver earned. Can we? I don't know if we can get gold. We're going to have to try to get a double. A twofer. Oh, close. I'll take it. So what you've all been waiting for. It is time to go DB battle with the one, the only, Keith T. Doing this one live. No retakes. No, give me one more chance at that. We are going to dominate this right away. Keith Taylor, Adam Thielen. Jump! I sneezed. That's what happened. I'll run with ya. I'll run with ya. I'll run with ya! Dude, I'm seeing like stars right now. That was not a good sneeze. There's the sack right there. Coverage sack. This is incredible by Keith Taylor. Oh, that's a PBU. Gold! The first time I've ever got gold in this drill. See what? Come on, dare ya. Oh, come, here we go. Another sack. Perfect. You cannot write this. Oh, there we go. I got a little bit of... I'm just going to steal that anyways. 19,000, Keith Taylor. Oh, you got the release. Damn it. Give him one. Give him one. It's all about building your team at this point. It's been such a shutdown performance. Come on, you know you want to throw. You want to try to get something out of this drill. What a drill by Keith. That's all-timer. No one's ever got a higher score than that. Even the pro players. Still can't believe it. Now, if we could just ignore the fact that I could see the route, and these are, I think it's on pro difficulty, let me have it. Just let me have it. Just let me have it. I'm not here to, when we get into our Cardinals franchise, it's going to be on all Madden. Probably not going to have nearly as fun in the training camp. But for right now, before you go to the comments, let me have it. Keith Taylor, gold medal. Just let me have this. Let me enjoy it. Keith Taylor, legend, icon. Of that performance, look at that, 2 skill points. Keith Taylor, we're going to make him a scheme fit. He's hitting the books, making sure he is ready to be integrated in the new defense, the 3-4. It's what he wanted last year. We couldn't give it to him. He is ready for a breakout season as our current corner 4. Now, this right here is why you get your Adam Thielens on the roster. Not only going to be a great safety net for Bryce Young, but they're also going to take young wide receivers under their wing. Now, I wish this was a role for Jonathan Mingo, but it is for Terrace Marshall. Could still have some upside with this squad, so we're going to have him work on, we'll go long routes. He's going to be more of an outside wide receiver for us. I don't think we're going to utilize him really in the slot. And Adam Thielen, Coach Adam Thielen, maybe future Coach Adam Thielen, gives him a nice +2 release, +2 deep route running. And we also have our training camp standout, usually a defensive player. If I had to guess right now, I'm going to guess Luvu or one of our corners. It always seems to be like a pass rusher. I don't know why. It's Derek Brown. We'll take that for Derek Brown because he is now going to be primarily trying to rush the passer, whereas before, maybe more just of like a true traditional defensive tackle. So a very nice +3 power and finesse move. Honestly, wasn't even considering because usually it's not your top tier player. That's a great role for us. For today's video, we're going to be using Madden generated draft classes. Even though really the first one was still mostly Madden generated draft classes, I just really wanted to use Marvin Harrison. I thought that would be a really interesting rebuild with the Colts. Marvin Harrison Jr., that is. We're going to just be using the generated draft classes here, maybe for the next couple rebuilds, while we create the realistic draft classes. And I guess I can announce it. I talked about it on Twitter today. But myself and Bengal are going to be working on draft classes this year on Xbox Next Gen. We're both kind of compiling a list of players right now for 2024 and 2025 draft classes. I think it was time. It was never not time, but I was just like, you know what? I think this would be pretty cool if me and you both work off like the same list of players so that a 2024 class and a 2025 class can really just get intertwined there. And that is what we're going to be doing. No finish date whatsoever. It takes so much work. It's so tedious. I'm not even on console yet because I'm going to be doing it on console right now. I'm playing primarily on PC. So it is going to be a little bit until it's fully released. But as soon as it's ready to go, we'll be able to drop that for you guys. But for the time being, just use generate draft class. It's fine. And if you guys really want to see me go back to just using these and then just modifying the players into real players, I suppose we could do that for the time being. But we won't do that here today. It's week 1, the debut for Bryce Young, and honestly, I want to see a great performance. That is the expectation, nothing less for the #1 overall pick. Sure, the weapons aren't the best, but you're not going up against the best team. You're going up against a very winnable opponent in the Atlanta Falcons. It's a big-time divisional game. Might as well also see, how we're going to continue the breakout here for Derek Brown. That is a guy that if we can get him rolling, man, it is going to be huge for this defense that is kind of lacking star talent. And he's on that cusp of being a potential star, so get him 2 combined sacks or TFLs to continue his breakout. So we got 2 things triggered up right now for this week 1 game against the Atlanta Falcons. But ultimately, we want to get a win. We want to see some flashes and a great performance out of Bryce Young and the continued development of Derek Brown. Let's see what Derek Brown. We get the dub 27-21 to start the year 1-0. Derek Brown had himself not the best of games. That's fine. Hey, it's a new scheme, man. New scheme. I'm not expecting you to hit the ground running. I just, let's keep stacking it up here. But for Bryce Young, 27-21, I'm assuming he played pretty well. Find out here if he can broke that. Bryce Young didn't light up the score sheet, but you're able to get the win. All right, so wasn't the prettiest. Didn't get over 300 yards, but did enough to get a nice 1,000 boost of XP. Not every debut game in the NFL is going to be 4 touchdowns, no picks. And let's see what our boy did. That's a clean game. 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Miles Sanders, 87 yards and a tutty. A couple rushing attempts too, so we're going to scramble Bryce Young here a little bit. Adam Thielen, old man. Turning back the clock, 97 yards and a touchdown, 68 and a tutty for Hayden Hurst. Didn't get, wow. Don't like seeing that, though, I'll be honest. Don't like seeing Mingo do nothing. Von Bell led the team, 8 tackles, had an interception. We got half a sack for Louvu on 2 TFLs. Derek Brown with a half sack. Von Bell with the pick, probably giving game ball there to Louvu. Really, really good performance. That's a great way to start the year at 1-0. Last piece of business is we got a breakout linebacker. Out of all the linebackers, it's probably Louvu, I'd guess. It is Frankie Louvu on the normal dev. He was a tackle machine. I played like an IDP fantasy league, and he was a stud last season. Sacks, tackles for loss, PBUs, interceptions, just total tackles. Let's see if he can continue his breakout as we start the meat grinder of divisional games to start the year. We got the Saints. This is going to be a tougher game. I think the Saints are going to be a little bit better than the Falcons. Got Derek Carr, got a veteran quarterback, and we're able to win. Let's go. 21-10. Started the year out 2-0. Let's see the breakout for Louvu. Does he hit it? Ah, damn. It needs to be said and highlighted and celebrated anytime you're like a rebuild. Carolina is in a rebuild. No one really has any serious expectation of the Panthers. And you kick the crap on the road out of a playoff team. 35-7. Bryce Young, ladies and gentlemen, 270 yards, 4 times. I wish we got a breakout off of that. 86 for Sanders. Adam Thielen crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. Rejuvenating himself here a little bit. We got 2.5 sacks, Derek Brown. Sack and a half, Louvu. Sack from Jeremy Chin. Panthers are for real. We're ahead of schedule. We ain't right back yet. They wrote us. We ain't wrote back. They said we were done. They said we were a scrub team. We're going to be battling it out for bottom tier picks. We don't have a first round pick. It's going to be a very difficult rebuild. I don't think so. That's what my team's saying. That's how Frank Wright got these guys playing. We got another playoff team to go to 4-0. We have another breakout scenario. It's probably for Louvu again. He is going off. It's Brian Burns. This is going to be a tough one, but if he hits it, it is going to be our first X Factor on the squad. Hold the lines less than 150 total yards. Tough. Or get Brian Burns, 3+ interceptions, 4 fumbles, TFL sacks. That's likely going to be a little bit more attainable. Detroit is a solid team. They're not off to the best start. They're 1-3. Maybe we can kick them while they're down. Continue our undefeated streak, which we do. 21-10, low-scoring game. Very low-scoring game. How are we this good? X Factor, X Factor, X Factor. It's the only thing that's gone wrong, man, are the breakout scenarios so far in year 1. We roll into the bye week. The number 1 defense in the NFL. Top 10 offense. Did not see this coming. Our first rebuild with the Indianapolis Colts. Very similar team. I would say, maybe you can even make the argument Colts have a little bit more talent right now. Top end talent. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman. Than what we have in Carolina Panthers. And that was hard. Our team didn't start getting good till, it took us at least 2 years of not being good. Hit the ground running here with Carolina. 6-0. Sitting at top. Are we probably the best team in the NFL right now? Let's look at some contracts. We don't have a crazy amount of salary cap space. 54 mils, not bad. There's a lot of guys here that I am going to want to keep, though. We're going to have to make some gross Matos, probably going to bounce. TJ Henderson, no dev trait. Had a dev trait last year. I mean, these are the guys that are in that bubble of let me look at your stats at the end of the year. Because right now, you have no interest in resigning, so that means I'd have to overpay for you to stay. Not really in the business. Louvu has been incredible as our pass rusher. He's 26. I'd love to get him on a 4-year deal. We'll bump it up to 4 to 4.5. Might not take this. He does. Let's go. First one has fallen. Chark, Deion Jones, nah. Jeremy Chin, definitely. I like that he is interested. We could probably get him here on the neutral offer. I want him here for the full rebuild. Let's get him on a 5-year, $35 million. And now it's time to back up that Brinks truck. Brian Burns. I don't even know where he is sim-wise. I've seen some big games from Louvu. I've seen some big games from Derek Brown. Don't know if that is the case here with Brian Burns. But we got to make it happen, man. Especially now that we're on a rookie quarterback contract. 7 years, $152 million. Big number 0. Our lone superstar right now on the defense gets locked in. First L of the season comes in the battle of the first round quarterbacks. Top 5 quarterbacks. How did we lose to 86 yards? Our defense was ridiculous. They just ran all over us. I guess, take a little bit of silver lining that our quarterback, who also didn't have a good game at all, looked slightly better than CJ Stroud. A breakout for J.C. Horn. See if he can break the streak of failed breakouts here against the Chicago Bears. We are on a 2-game losing streak. We just got dunked by the Colts. So we're looking to get back to our winning ways. Winnable matchup, right? This is the DJ Moore trade. Who is the team that's further ahead? Oh, it was close. 20-16. Damn. Wish we had a DJ Moore and another failed breakout scenario. 0-4, 0-5, I don't know what it is now. Too many. Lost count. I had to see it to believe it. At the end of year one, we are the 1 seed in the AFC. We had a defeat to close against the Bucks. And honestly, our team, not the prettiest team. We won a lot of games ugly. We didn't score a lot of points. We had an almost top 10 passing offense for a rookie quarterback with the very limited weapons that we have. Very happy with that, but we had one of the best defensive units in the NFL. The number 2 overall defense, borderline top 5 passing defense. I'm glad that it's in line with what we saw last year in our Madden 23 franchise with the Panthers. Our pass defense was truly absurd, and I love seeing that. We're starting out this Carolina Panthers rebuild year 1 with an NFC South title, 1 seed in the NFC, and look at that. My webcam's blocking it. Derek Brown, top 3 in sacks. And Shaq Thompson was top 3 in total tackles. Just the webcam's kind of blocking it there. But, I mean, I'm a little worried that if Derek Brown ain't like that, what happened with Brian Burns? We just paid $150 million. Well, let's take a look here. Bryce Young goes for 3,600 yards passing, 28 touchdowns to 6 picks. Very respectable rookie season. They're going with 250 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown. Chuba was a nice vulture. 1,200 yards, 8 tutties for Miles Sanders. Is pretty respectable as well. Adam Thielen goes over 1,000 yards with 12 tutties, 794 and 5 for Hayden Hurst, 730 and 2 for DJ Chark, 579 and 7 for Mingo, with Sanders with 304. Definitely, maybe it's the playbooks, maybe it's the quarterbacks, but this is our second rebuild. Haven't seen a lot of crazy, consistent, high number passing yard, passing offense seasons. Maybe it's just the 2 teams that we did. We had a couple big years with Anthony Richardson, but generally over the whole of 5 years, average, maybe not the hottest start here with Carolina. Again, we know our wide receiver room, not the best, so maybe it's a work in progress, and eventually we can get Bryce Young throwing 30, 40 touchdowns in a season. That'd be pretty cool. Shaq Thompson, top 3 in total tackles in the NFL this year, 119, 5 TFLs, 2 picks. Great season. 15.5 sacks for Derek Brown on 16 TFLs. Ridiculous. 16 TFLs, 9 sacks for Luvu. 6 and 6 for Brian Burns. That is disappointing. What I am going to do, I think, is I'm actually going to flip Brian Burns to right outside linebacker, because right outside linebacker is a speed rusher, like scheme fit. Maybe that has something to do with it. And Brian Burns at left outside linebacker, it's a power rusher scheme fit. Maybe that will optimize him a little bit. But very happy with Derek Brown. A little worried we might lose a dev trade here on Brian Burns. 4 picks, J.C. Horn, 3 for Bell, 3 for Deion Jones. Where's Keith? Oh, Keith didn't get on the board. Keith sure was a big part of our defense being elite. Though you doubt that for 1 second. Look at the yearly awards. MVP goes to... Please nerf him. Please nerf the playbook already. Get rid of the Cowboys. No! No! Stop making this a thing! Not even a hater. Not even, obviously, I am a hater because I hate the Cowboys. But I'm not even in this context. They're not that good. Don't make them that good in Madden, please. Like, Dak's never sniffing an MVP award. He's won it. This is 6 years that I've played franchise mode in Madden 24. Dak's won MVP like 3 times. Absolute joke. Average player goes to Cooper Kupp. Aaron Donald, defensive. Ooh, runner-up. Damn. Bijan wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Bryce Young, runner-up. Damn. Brian Branch, DB of the Year for rookies. You got Dak, Kenneth Walker, Cooper Kupp, Lindstrom, Aaron Donald. So always a bridesmaid, never bride. I'll be pretty upset, honestly, if Derek Brown does not get a superstar dev off of this season. He was absolute big time. Von Bell there. And Jeremy Chin, our safety duo, very good. Coming number 7, number 8. J.C. Horn at number 4. The secondary on point for the Carolina Panthers. Eddie Pinheiro, Gator kicker, coming in number 3. So we did have some individual success, which I'm fine. Team success was outstanding. And obviously, if you did not check out my video that I uploaded last night, breaking down all of the rookie dev traits in Madden 24, then you would not know Mingo as star. But Bryce Young is one of the few players in this year's rookie draft class that did get a superstar dev. Incredibly valid, very much deserved. We'll take it. Let's see just how far this rookie superstar quarterback can take us in the year 1 playoffs. In the first round, we get the Seattle Seahawks, team that we beat early on in the season. Really our first big win that made us feel like we had a chance because we were able to, I think we beat them like 35-7. It's always a revenge game, though. Good opportunity. What better time than now to make us, yeah, there you go. Ugly, ugly game. Low scoring, and we fall. We're 1-0. We pull the Cowboys. 17-7. We lose. We have player of the week defense. I'm going to assume it's Derek Brown. Frankie Louvu, 10 tackles and a sack. But as we watch, I assume Anthony Richardson and the Colts move on. 1 and done. Damn, disappointing. To close out year one, the same Seahawks team that defeated us went on to make the Super Bowl. So, you know, no shame in losing to them, I suppose. But Anthony Richardson, rookie Anthony Richardson and the Colts win the Super Bowl year one, 38-13. Wow, more evidence not to get rid of Jonathan Taylor. That's kind of was the side we took in that rebuild. Okay, well, now we're going to hold our breath. Let's look at our squad, see the depth traits up and down, and hopefully we still have a superstar Brian Burns. That's the big get. I want to see a superstar still on Brian Burns, which would be almost unjust, but it'd be nice to get that role there. And I want to see Derek Brown get a superstar. On the offense, we got a depth trait for Adam Thielen. Maybe fair. You know, maybe it's a little harsh having Adam Thielen as a normal dev right now, out the gate, out the box. You can make the argument he should still be a star. And as our only 1,000 receiver, he went up to a star. So that is really, really nice. Mingo's dev star. Obviously, Bryce Young at superstar. Want Mingo up there firmly as our starting outside wide receiver. Defense, I don't even want to look. Nice! Oh, there's some more gold here. Brian Burns somehow keeps his superstar. Shaq Thompson, leading tackler. Top 3 linebacker in the NFL. Kind of makes sense. Maybe should have expected him to go up dev, which he did. He goes from star to a superstar. Louvu goes from normal up to a star. Jerry Chin goes from star up to a superstar. And Derek Brown did not suffer the same. I was like, at worst, we might get that trade-off. That Brian Burns might lose his superstar, but Derek Brown's going to gain it. Well, Derek Brown just decides straight up, I'm going to get one too. You keep yours. You keep yours. It looks good on you. I'm going to get my own superstar. That is awesome for the defense, man. They're going to be ready to come back next year. Bigger, better, madder than ever. Started the offseason by picking up the 5th-year option on J.C. Horn. Pretty easy business decision there. I think he's one of the best, most underrated corners in the NFL. Love everything about him, not just for what he did for us last year in our franchise mode. Might be a little tight of an offseason. We got $26 million of salary cap. Maybe we could see if we make a couple trims around the roster to get some more funds for this upcoming open market. Just went through the roster. Not a lot of contracts that can be dumped right now. Like Corbett, maybe. Like Xavier Woods be a good one to get off the books because he's pure depth right now. But there's just too big of a penalty really to move on from that. So, low-key expensive roster here in Carolina. And tell you that, what doesn't help either is freaking Andy Dalton's contract there. Ugh. But he does have the mentor tag, which is giving extra XP to Bryce Young, so I don't have the biggest issue having him on the roster right now. So the mantra for this rebuild, as it relates to free agency, is we want to try to be as aggressive as we possibly can because we are operating this rebuild on a rookie contract for our quarterback. So that's what we're going to try to do. And right now, we are throwing in some pretty big offers. One's for Devin White, not necessarily a need, but we did let Deion Jones walk. I would love to have him on the squad. And then we got DPJ, star dev wide receiver of the Browns. Feel a little bit more confident getting that. I guess we'll go to Devin White, maybe offer a little bit more. I just offered straight up a neutral. We'll go player friendly and round that up a little bit, but that's likely the biggest offer I would like to add. Let's go. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to join what we got building here? One of the best teams, hottest teams in the league. Yeah, a little embarrassing to crash and burn one and done, but these are the kind of missing pieces that can help get us over the line. We're going to take our punishment of getting Bryce Young. I'm not going to trade up in the draft, get any further behind in our future draft picks. We're going to sit and wait to pick 27 of the second round, and let's start finding some studs. One player I like is Michael Gardner here at tight end. Fits the parameters of what I really like to look for in a tight end. I'll use this actually as a plug right now. I think tomorrow, if not the next day, I have 2 EA sponsored videos. One is like a big time guide to franchise mode for beginners, but I also am uploading a drafting and scouting guide, and Michael Gardner fits some parameters here, fellas. A, catching looks great, B, route running looks great, but the A, run block, and the fact that he posts elite strength. Maybe not the best athlete of the bunch. It looks like a pretty good player. And Hayden Hurst does have a pretty big contract, but I think when you don't have a first-round pick, you almost kind of need to go BPA, and he could be our long-term answer there at tight end. So definitely strongly considering that selection. I think we could grab a guard. Board's not the best there. I definitely think our biggest need is finding and surrounding Derek Brown with some more talent on that front three. It's just not the best draft class for 3-4 defensive ends, especially on the front end here. Now, the D tackle's a little bit different story. We have Juan Chamberlain, who we scouted. 3 Bs and a C, 6'3", 314. Run stuffer. Decent combine. Not ridiculously good, but decent. Like, that's a guy that's probably going to be low 70s. Might roll a dev trait. This guy looks intriguing as well. Tremont Gray, A finesse move, B tackle, C block shed, 6'4", 295. A little bit undersized, but 4'7". Okay, breaks the 30 threshold there for the bench press. But I'm thinking we have a couple options here at defensive tackle. I think Pounds could potentially be viewed. I think Devin Gunter, 3 C's and a B. That's respectable. Robert Foote, potentially 2 B's, 2 C's. Zach Sample, we have 2 B's for block shed. So there are some guys here, but the fact that there's a little bit of a drop-off, and I have a lot of confidence this tight end is going to be really good. I think we're going to pull the trigger here and get a long-term safety net. Hayden Hurst, more of a short-term. So we're going to go Michael Gardner. Oh, no dev. Come on, man. It's tough getting, I wasn't big expectations getting a dev trait. Don't have a first-round pick, but I was pretty confident this was going to be at least a hidden. I was going to be like, all right, I'm going to get to the 3rd round, and I'm going to trade him in the 3rd round and get Chamberlain, and he's gone. Chamberlain. It's not even Chamberlain. Juan Chamberlain. I don't even deserve to draft him. We're going to the 3rd round. We're still going to stay after defensive tackle. Devin Gunter might be the best. 6'6", 319. 3 C's and a B. Combine, also not bad at all. Almost top 5 in the 40. Bench press is great. Top 10 for the most part in the 3-cone 20-yard shuttle. Great quality improvement, life change for drafts. Look at the very bottom. Previous player, next player. You don't have to back out every single time you want to go to the next player. Look at this. Whoa. Oh! All day in the nose tackle. I'm obviously want to try to get him as well. 41 reps. We have Robert Foote, another nose tackle. In a perfect world, I'm going to find a way to get him and the other D tackle, Gunter, 46 reps. But the fact that they've been able to add in something where you can go through players, it's just small things. It's a little thing. Literally, I spoke with a dev directly saying, add this, please. Add this right now, going through the draft players. So tedious. And it takes so long. Look at this one, a couple seconds every single time you want to back out. So I think what we're going to try to do here is we're going to go to the inverse of what we tried to do, and we missed out on Chamberlain. I'm going to draft Gunter, and then we're going to trade up in the 4th round and get Mr. Robert Foote. And those will be the 2 D linemen that we're looking for. But Gunter is going to be, with his athleticism, probably moving to a defensive end spot. Can't buy a dev. Over the Jags, they want our 4th this year, our 4th next year, and a 6th-round pick in 2 years' time to get the first pick of the 4th round. Hey, we're not going to have a draft like this anymore for the remainder of the rebuild. At least I don't have any intentions of not having a first-round pick. So right now we are very much like, if we see a guy that looks pretty good, and we're already down 2 normal dev players on our first 2 picks, we got to go out here and grab that big old nose tackle. 46 reps. Feel pretty confident there's going to be a dev here, man. This was last year there'd be a dev trade. Robert Foote, come on, give me the dev trade. Let's go. 99 strength. What a beast. At 24, these guys still exist. Frank Younger, 1st in the 40, 1st in the 3-cone, 1st in the 20-yard shuttle, and he has B deep route running. This guy, if he's not good, then Madden 24 draft classes are different, because Madden 23, Madden 22, this guy here is going to be like a 75 hidden dev. Frank Younger, no dev, still could be a pretty high rating. That is a freak athlete. Okay. I got to back out to show you guys the big picture. I'm just like late round. Who's still left? Dylan Marion, 6'2" corner, 3 Bs. Lindsey Kitchen, 6 feet corner, 2 Bs and an A. And we got Deontay Tongue, an A, B, and a C for their stats. I want all of them, but we're going to start with, we don't even need corners right now, but I guess Henderson needs to replace 3 Bs, 6'2", ran a 4.29 at his pro day. Now, the 3-cone 20-yard shuttle, not really what you're looking for, but this is great value day 3. We got Tongue, the other top corner, looked like the least impressive, but there's our second hidden dev player of the draft. And with our first draft class in the books, let's see how we feel. Gardner, no first round pick. You gotta remember, no first round pick. Gardner, 72 normal. Gunter, 69 normal. Let's see if that rating shifts up or down. Our plan right now, is for him to play left defensive end. I'm a little worried that might drop down to like a 60, 66. Maybe only 69. Maybe it won't be too bad. Defensive end Arkansas goes from a 69 to a 66. A little bit of a whip. But we got ourselves a shiny new nose tackle, day one starter in Robert Foote. And this kind of starts the 99s of this draft. This is a 99 draft. We get 99 strength and a hidden dev on our defensive tackle. Now, we didn't get the best dev trait here, but Frank Younger, 70 overall for a 5th round pick's not bad. And the athletic profile is truly, truly absurd. 99 speed, almost 99 acceleration, almost 98 agility. This guy, I'll tell you right now, there's our punt returner. There is, that guy at worst should be an S-tier punt returner, return man for the entirety of this rebuild, if not able to find out a big role. Marion, 68, and Deontay Tung, our final pick, 66, as our second hidden dev player of the draft class. And for no first round pick, I think that's pretty good. I do want to look at Chamberlain. What kind of player did we miss out on there? He went late second. Oh. Just be normal dev. Don't be hidden dev. If you're hidden dev, I'm going to be sad. Oh, no, I'm sad. Just be star. If you're anything better than a star, I'm going to be very sad. We're only 2 rebuilds in, but I've yet to have like a big miss. If I missed on a star dev player, you know, you can move on. Okay, it's only a star dev. Still a little bit of a bummer because I would have been able to stack him with the 99 strength D tackle, and then we're laughing on the other side of Derek Brown. But the process was mostly right. We knew that guy was going to be good. We just went with the tight end because there was more depth at D tackle. Now, I did see comments in our very first rebuild. There was an 85 quarterback the first year that we went through. People were like, well, you should highlight that. So anytime I see a freak guy, we should highlight it. And look at, I don't even think they made 87s last year. I think 86 was the highest overall you could get. And the Giants immediately replaced Saquon Barkley or bring in competition. Bernie Molded, 87 elusive back. That guy looks truly incredible. Good knowing that we're going against, I assume this is going to be an X factor. But that is a generational running back going to join a generational, because Saquon's still there, I'm pretty sure. Wow. Okay. Enter our second season as overachievers year one, but still the one and done in the playoffs left a bad taste in our mouths. So we've gone out and improved the team. The offense, ready to run it back. We have not downgraded in any position. And for the upgrades, we added Donovan Peoples-Jones at wide receiver, underrated wide receiver. 25 years old, started at 80 overall. And hopefully he's going to get a little bit more of an opportunity here than what he was getting in Cleveland. Maybe second fiddle to Amari Cooper. Hopefully we can get him the ball. And we see a dynamic tandem. Adam Thielen looking for a back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons here in Carolina. And I would love to see the continued breakout and development of Jonathan Mingo. But our offense really going to go only as far as Bryce Young, who our goal for him this year, I would love to see like 32 passing touchdowns at 27, I think, 26, 27, 28. Last year, I would like to see something 30 plus. It's been only about 5 hours since I last recorded here, so forgive me if it's not super fresh in my mind. On the defense is where we made some investments, not only on the defensive line, where we went, well, Gunter was a little bit of a whiff, but with no first-round pick, getting the 99 strength powerhouse Robert Foote is a great get out of Oklahoma. 99 strength hype is very high, and I think when I see something like that with 99 strength, I'm pretty optimistic about that dev trait. Might have a shot being something better than a silver boy. We also got Tung, hit a dev corner. We brought Devin White in over from our divisional rival Tampa Bay Buccaneers to play alongside Shaq Thompson and the dev traits. Superstar Shaq Thompson, superstar Derek Brown, superstar Jeremy Chin. Those are all new for the defense. Also, Keith Taylor gets to play. He's going to be our slot corner right now because he's Keith freaking Taylor, baby. And if special teams matter, we got the best special teams player I've seen in a minute here at Frank Younger, a S-tier athlete who is going to be incredibly dangerous. Like, this is a guy that if this was an on-the-sticks franchise mode, if this was the Panthers franchise, I'd just make him running back and make him like my Devin on chain, like what the Miami Dolphins have right now. Freak athlete, excited to see how he can develop. But ultimately, you know, last year we overachieved. That's the only bad thing about overachieving, is because last year we were what, 12 wins, 11, 12 wins. We probably should have been like an 8 or 9 win team. So now this year, if we have a little bit fall down the grace, it's going to feel like we're going in the step in the wrong direction. But in reality, we're just overachieving a little bit year one. But the pace has been set. We need to be making the playoffs every single year. I'll call it roughly the midway point of year two. Tied for first place in the division. Off to a decent start. Offense has been a little hit or miss, but we still have a top 10 passing offense right now. Defense falling off the cliff a little bit. Last year, elite unit. This year, struggling a little bit. Not exactly sure why. Again, I think it was just overachieving. I think it was just like a perfect bounce for how everyone was playing. We got $66 million, so we're going to have to figure out who and what we're going to decide. We're definitely going to pick Ike Ekwonu's fifth-year option a little bit later on. Well, this one here is a foregone conclusion. We got 4 years left of this rebuild, or 3 years left. We're getting Keith Taylor locked in for the remainder. Obviously, he's the heart and soul of this squad. We got Brad Christmason. Honestly, he's not that bad. I feel like if we can win with some of the old school guys, why not? So we'll get Christmason. I mean, Ian Todd's just a lot of money for a fullback. I love Chuba, but he's just not. If he takes this offer, give him 3 years for the remainder of the rebuild. This is purely Canadian bias. That's the only reason why I'm throwing that money there. Better not come back to bite us in the butt. Austin Corbett, you know, I say we ride our lineman to the ground, especially if we just can get him on a reasonable deal, which we do. 3 years, which should be locked up for the rest of this rebuild. We have Dante Jackson, only looking for a 1 year. I'd like to give him, let's get him 2 year, $14.2 million. And where everyone's just kind of buying in here. Now we got Derek Brown coming off a breakout season last year. I think we're going to have to meet him in the middle of the road. At least start with a player-friendly deal. I'll bump this up to 12. We'll go 12 and 12. 4 years, 96 mil. Get him locked in. So that's big contract first year to Brian Burns. Big contract second year to Derek Brown. And it's all because we're rocking on the rookie deal of Bryce Young. Shaq Thompson was awesome last year. Went up a dev trait, but things are just getting a little tight in terms of salary cap. But he was really good, so I would like to try to keep him and Devin White here long term. We'll offer him a 4-year, $50 million deal, which still, I mean, I don't feel great about that contract. He's 30 years old, but he's playing really well. So that's kind of why we got to value him there. And everybody else, thank you for your service. Off an outstanding 42-28 victory over the Saints, which keeps us tied for first in the division in a game that double player of the week. J.C. Horn, 2 picks and a pick six. Bryce Young, 5 touchdowns in a thriller. That is a lot of momentum to be rolling into. It's a big one. Taking on the Chiefs. Whenever you take on the Chiefs, they are the boss. They are the final boss of Madden. Not only that, we have a breakout defensive back. Is it going to be Horn for the huge game? It is. J.C. Horn, very tough. Probably the one team you don't want to try to roll on hold him to less than passing yards. We're trying to stop Mahomes, but hopefully they throw the football a lot. He can get some PBUs, potentially get the breakout. Honestly, I just want to keep the winning streak alive, and if we can win here, we might very well take sole position of the top of the group. And that might work out well for J.C. Horn. Low scoring game, 14-10. Great job from the defense. First place in the NFC South, J.C. Horn. Man, dev traits are hard to come by via breakouts right now in this Panthers rebuild. We have yet to do it. Final 2 games of the season, just not enough consistency, man. We'd win 2, lose 2, win 1, lose 1. We have to win out. And we won week 17, 24-8. And we need to win this game week 18 to have any chance. I don't know. Falcons may still have the tiebreaker. We win this one and we're tied. Maybe we sneak in the wild card. Maybe we're the tiebreaker. We win the division. And we win the division, baby! 21-14. Clutch. And with that, we're in the playoffs. It's last year. The Panthers, Madden franchise team, against the Cardinals. This year's franchise team. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's take a look at our squad here. And I'm just going to tell you right now, can we nerf Dak Prescott? How about we nerf Dak Prescott, man? Come on. We didn't ask to replace the Bucs OP sim with Dallas. Okay? Absolutely didn't ask for it. There's still not the live version of the game, right? There's still early access. There's going to be updates. Just make the Cowboys playbook realistic. You're lying to yourself twice. Not only lying to yourself that Dak Prescott, I'll tell you right now, Dak can throw for 40. Can. But he doesn't throw for 40 every year. He's not that guy. On top of that, Mike McCarthy's offense is not that type of offense. Mike McCarthy is a borderline meme head coach at this point in time in his career. So you're double lying to yourself that Dak's that good and Mike McCarthy's offense is that good. I know we know, right? Do we know? Do we think we know why the Cowboys are really, I don't know. Focus on what we can control. Panthers. Bryce Young, we wanted 32 touchdowns. He got 35. We love seeing that. 3,800 yards, 35 tutties to 6 picks. 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns for Miles Sanders. 3 and 7 We're at Chuba Hubbard, 277 on the ground for Bryce Young. Our big signing at free agency skill position spot. DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones, 70 catches, 1,000 yards, 7 tutties. Mingo with 981 and 9, 888 and 9 for Adam Thielen. Not much out of our tight ends, however, but that's fine. Defensively, Shaq Thompson, 99 tackles. Devin White with 92. Both with decent sack and TFL numbers. 7 sacks for Luvu, 7 for Derek Brown, 4. And it's, you know, I prepared you at the beginning of this video. It's just the nature of a beast. If you're simming 3-4, you know, don't expect crazy sacks. Just kind of is what it is. At least until we understand like what 3-4 defense playbook is good. But I mean, then again, last year's numbers wasn't brutal. Derek Brown had a hell of a year. So maybe it's just a little bit of down here on the sacks, but we got to get Brian Burns going, man. 2 years, he has 11 sacks, 10, 11 sacks. Not necessarily what we're looking for on the defensive side of the ball. Yearly awards. MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes with Dak Prescott at number 2. Nerf it. Nerf it. Just nerf it. Nerf it. You can't. Literally, you get one of them nerds, go in the code, right? You just go in the code, and you nerf their playbook. You don't make it as strong. It's the playbook. It's the Cowboys' playbook here. It's not Dak Prescott. It's not the stats of Dak Prescott. It's not the stats of the Cowboys' offense. Just nerf the playbook a little bit. You can still have Dak play well. He's not 40 touchdowns every year. He's the lead. I've done 8, 9. We'll just say I've done 10 rebuild seasons, and in 7 of them, he's been top 3 in the MVP. Nerf it. It's supposed to be realistic. Nerf it. For sure, nerf it. Look who else is up here. Lamar, he's an MVP candidate. He's won the MVP. Joe Burrow's been an MVP candidate. Jalen Hurts has been an MVP candidate. Justin Herbert has been an MVP candidate. Dak has not. Maybe 1 year. Kind of. Right? So that's end rant. And I know it's just going to be, oh, he's just an Eagles fan. Trust me. The people that say that are Cowboys fans. Everybody else, 31 other teams, think it's stupid that the Cowboys are good right now. Okay? Sorry. Not sorry. Not sorry one bit, actually. Offensive player of the year goes to Cooper Kupp. CeeDee Lamb at number 2. See, that's believable. I can believe CeeDee Lamb having a hell of a year. Absolutely could. Not Dak Prescott. Michael Parsons wins defensive player of the year. Man, the Cowboys are good, huh? But that's also believable. Michael Parsons is a freak. One of the best defensive players in the NFL. Offensive rookie of the year goes to McDonald. We got Casey. Looking for some Panthers here, man. We had a pretty solid year. Not to get anything in terms of any awards, really, for back-to-back years is pretty rough. But it's all about the playoffs here. These rebuilds don't go down as successful rebuilds by winning individual awards. It goes down by getting Super Bowls, and we got a nice little ticket here. Hopefully go on a run to win a Super Bowl. And in the first round, Arizona, it's time. End rant. Gotta focus here, man. Can't let my Dallas... It's not even a Dallas Cowboy hatred, man. If Dallas was very good, if Dak Prescott was getting 40 touchdowns in real life, I'd just be like, damn, man, the Cowboys are good. They're not. They're not that good. He literally had like the top 5 in picks, and he's throwing 4 picks in a season. Anyways, we gotta win. Focus on the win. 28-21 after being one and done last year, pulling a Dallas Cowboys. And you know what? Again, I don't want to take shots at Cowboys fans. It's not your fault. You know, if you were an honest Dallas Cowboy fan, you wouldn't make Dallas this good. You'd probably make them pretty good. And Dallas is not a bad team. They're a good team, but they're not a pretty good team. They're just a good team, and that's fine because the NFC sucks and they have a chance. But you know, even Cowboy fans would make them this good. So, last shot's fired. Unless it happens again, then it'll just continue my internet. Ooh, Bryce Young did not play well. Luckily, our secondary forced 2 interceptions on Kyler Murray. Decent game from Miles Sanders. 2 sacks, Derek Brown. We had J.C. Horn and Brian Burns dropping back in coverage, getting a pick for our first playoff victory of the rebuild. Hopefully, we continue to build on that. We got the Minnesota Vikings now. Pretty good, you know. I like our secondary, though, against Justin Jefferson. At the end of the day, you got to stop Justin Jefferson. If you can stop Justin Jefferson, it's like the head of a snake. You kill the head, rest will fall. That's what we got to do. And we do. Oh, no. I just had the rant. We won 20. I don't even want to look at that playoff win because we already know what's going to happen here. I'm sure. And you know what? I'll eat my words. If we win and we're somehow in the Super Bowl in year 2, then we are on a Cinderella run. But I think. Oh no. Oh no, man. Q2 has come to an end, and the Jags defeat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl 34-31. Congrats to them, but what I am focused on is our roster and what kind of dev trades we have. The good news, the good rolls, the bad rolls, everything in between, and on the offensive side of the ball. As far as dev trades are concerned, no one on the offense went up or down, and really given the stats, I mean, Bryce Young had a really good year. Maybe there was a chance you could have got that flipped up to an X factor, but I wasn't really expecting anything. It's really been our defense that's had some real studs, and look at that. So we got Foot is a star dev. That is his hidden dev, is what it is. Not the best role, not the worst role. We have regression as both Shaq Thompson and Brian Burns lose their superstars. However, we gain an X factor for Derek Brown, who has been awesome. We had slight doubts, not complete doubts, wasn't throwing him under the bus here or anything, but slight doubts when the change to the 3-4 and him being a defensive end, that it might not be a super smooth transition. He has responded, and he has been absolutely incredible. He's been everything Brian Burns has not been. The big win, which is maybe a little bit bad news for our board Keith Taylor right now, is Tongue. The Tongue man, late round pick pop superstar. Our second hidden dev player from last year's draft class is a superstar corner. So I think that that's going to mean going forward, we can't have Keith Taylor biased. Keith Taylor still, still get on the field and be corner 4 and all that different stuff, but we gotta get Tongue on the field and maximize that dev trade. We don't have crazy salary cap because I mean, in a perfect world, if I had like $70 million, I think I would keep like some of our role players: Terrace Marshall, Xavier Woods, Ian Thomas, Johnny Hecker, Eddie Pinheiro, special teams, but we just do not have the funds for that. So the lone piece of business will be picking up the 5th-year option on Ike Ekwonu. We're trying to make some cuts because like I understand we have an expensive roster, but we gotta tighten up the ship here. Our roster shouldn't be this expensive for where we're at. So we're gonna make the decision to get younger at the tight end position and free up a couple $1 million by moving on from Hayden Hurst. Shy Tuttle is gonna be another one of the trimming decisions here. That's almost like $5 million, and I think we probably can do better with that $5 million on the open market. Try to throw Brian Burns on the bus, but he did lose superstar dev. He has been underperforming. We're not going to consider this just quite yet, but in Madden 24, you now have the option to restructure, and it's awesome. It breaks down exactly what is going to happen. Like if I restructured Brian Burns right now, I'd get that additional $70 million of cap space this year. Would help us out and show us what it would look like in 2025. I think this is going to be something that we can utilize, especially like year 5 of rebuilds. If we need that extra little push and we're staring down the barrel of like no Super Bowls at all. But right now, I mean, again, that's just, he's not having a good time. And I think if you start restructuring, thinking about it, like, now's not the time, unless there's someone on the open market that we need, that we can't afford, then I'll look at restructuring. I feel like year 2 is a little early, unless there's like a clear and obvious like vet that just is so overpaid. I'm like, we do not really have that guy on our roster right now. Taylor Moton potentially, but do I really want to like keep reinvesting in Taylor Moton? It doesn't even give me the option. That's how bad his contract is. So looking at free agency, I will say, because this is our second rebuild, we're still really, really early in the Madden 24 cycle. But through the Colts rebuild, all 5 years, free agency was very underwhelming every year. And it's good to know that sometimes you can get good roles. This is actually a pretty decent role, all things considered. We weren't seeing classes like this in our first Colts rebuild. Like, there's actual talent. Hey, if you need a quarterback, there is a quarterback. Some superstars. Yeah, they're up there in age a little bit, but some of the guys are under 30, and it felt like before in that Colts rebuild, almost everyone that was worth signing was like 31, 32, 33. You're getting a little bit more here. So what we're going to target here is going to be still on the affordable side. I need a 3-4 defensive end, and in case we can't find one in the draft, I really like Milton Williams, very good athlete. Frank Reich, I don't know if he would have been there when we got him in Philly. But, look, Joe Douglas wants Milton Williams. We'll go up to a player-friendly deal. If not, I mean, I feel optimistic we might be able to draft somebody here if he does decide to go with the Jets. Ooh, that is cold, hard rejection there for free agency. Maybe we never should have dipped our toes in to begin with and just rolled over the $30 million that we had for next season. That's what I'm going to do, man. I got scared. I got rejected. And now I'm going back to my room. Gee, that's a lie. I'm going to look at Odigizua of the Dallas Cowboys, 6'2", 280, would kick out the defensive end. Not going to overpay, though. He's a year older than Milton Williams. We're going to have to take this into day 2 of free agency, but it just give us one less thing that we have to draft going into the upcoming draft class with, finally, a first-round pick. Hey, there we go. I actually think his rating might jump. I mean, 79 at 27 is not bad. We only got him on a 2-year deal, too, so it's not like we're going to worry about this aging wrong. We're going to get him for the remainder of his prime. No dev trade or anything crazy like that. It is a humble free agency signing, but I think with his skill set, there might be a shot of him going up maybe into the 80s by moving to defensive end. Psych actually loses a point. I guess it should be highlighted. Andy Dalton retired this offseason. And I'll take a look at the draft. We actually have a first-round pick this year. We don't have a second-round pick, but we'll do damage here as best as we can. We had to sit and wait. And we got to decide what position do we want to improve. Now, the bummer is I did scout my corners. I didn't think we had a superstar corner on the roster, else I wouldn't have done so because there are some nice corners. Mike Lowry at a TCU, 6'4", 186. Like, we still, if corner is BPA, that looks really good, man. Top 5 at his pro day in the 40-yard dash runs a 4.3 at 6'4". Just because, you know, Dante Jackson's getting up there in age a little bit. So, like, is he going to be a guy that we can count on for the remainder of this rebuild, or should we just start preparing for the inevitable? We have Richard Cunningham, 6'4", 185, 8-man, B-press, B-zone, C-catching. Pretty good athlete as well. A little stiffer. Pause. But he ran 4.39 as well. But we did scout the corners. It's a strong corner class, all things considered. We got a little bit of a value pick down here in Silas Fitzpatrick, first, second round grade, which is a little bit of a freebie. So that gives you, like, he's going to be a good player. Do we just wait and get value elsewhere? But, like, where else do we need to improve the squad? A safety, potentially. The top safety available right now is Emmett Griffin. We only have B hit power, but 6'2", and pretty good athlete. Man, this guy hits like a heat-seeking missile. We just don't have a lot of needs. You know, we got Odigizua in free agency. I think maybe like a really high upside 3-4 defensive end could be nice. And there's just not one of those guys. Green here. Double A in the B. 6'4", 306. But athletically speaking, you know, he just got power. You need a little bit of juice. You need those undersized D tackles that you get that are like 290 something. And we do have them here. We have Brendan Holt, but like, look, that's not a first round pick. Double A's looks interesting at 295. Greg Harrison's 295. He looks pretty solid. Lovelock 285. So this is a weird draft for us because, like, what's the guard situation saying? Is there legit? We have Hilton. Austin looks solid. Lidge looks like he could be solid. I mean, there's depth. Burst could be solid. Double A, double B, double A there on Malik Johnson. So the value's a little bit later on at guard. Don't need tight end. Don't need any. So I'm thinking, the best bet is one of these two corners, Mike Lowry or Richard Cunningham. Lowry is the better of the athlete. We'll just future-proof the corner position. Got a superstar corner last year. We got a long ways to go, though. He's still like, he's a 72, 73. We'll get Lowry. No dev, man. Oh. This is like the inverse. First rebuild with the Colts. All of our first-round picks are hidden dev. So far, we've yet to draft a top hidden dev. We're due. We're going to be due. We still got a couple more drafts to go. But Lowry, I mean, at worst, hopefully pulling a nice rating. And wow, the guards got decimated. London bring a little bit of competition in. Brad Christmason. Lance Lennon. Looks solid. He's like a UDFA grade player. Like, I assume he'll still be there a little bit later on. The next best guy, I would say, is Chris Parker at linebacker. No, in terms of regression, Thompson is regressing Shaq Thompson a little bit. We have the double A's for tackle and zone coverage. 6'3", 233. Maybe not the best athlete, but not a brutal athlete. We'll go Chris Parker here. Hey, hidden dev. Let's go. Now we're going to day 3. Even though we don't need corners whatsoever, we'll trust our scouting and just get a good play here. Silas Fitzpatrick. Hopefully we roll a dev trade. We do not. Hopefully we roll a good base rating. But look at our draft recap. We know our first round pick wasn't hidden dev, but he's 76 overall, that's about enough. That's about the threshold. If you're at least a 75 or above, I can deal with no dev trade, right? Mike Lowry, that's awesome. Chris Parker, all 70s. Take that. Chris Parker, 73 with a hidden dev. Silas Fitzpatrick, 74 normal. We got a 75 fullback. We got to replace the great Ian Thomas, 75 at fullback. That was, he was just B's. It stood out because he was all B's for all his grades, but nothing A. And usually you got to see, and sometimes you do get roles of fullbacks that will have like A impact blocking, A awareness, something like that, and usually that's a good player. He had not an A in sight. And I just took the layup because there was nothing there. There's no good kickers. But there was a pretty good punter. Dylan Merritt had an A in the accuracy, and he had rolling a 71. So small draft class, but we made it count, and we got our at least one hidden dev player. Just kind of looking around the draft classes. Best guy, Evan Meeks, tight end, 81 overall. What are we talking about here? Is this your Travis Kelce regen? Is this a baby Gronk, 6'5", 235 receiver? Looking pretty good. Like, is this as close of a generational tight end prospect as you can get in Madden 24? Let's see the dev. It's superstar. It's X Factor. I'm going to say that it is. And there you go. There is your generational tight end. Congrats to the Chicago Bears. Does that mean Cole Kmet's up for trades? New year begins in year 3. Big changes for the offense. Just kind of shuffling the wide receiver room. Jonathan Mingo, after a strong training camp, is now regarded our wide receiver 1, and it's becoming ever more clearly that, Thielen is regressing. We need to start thinking maybe about splashing at wide receiver, especially with, upcoming free agency, if we get a good role there. A little bit of a drop-off at tight end. We got to see if Gardner can thrive as a starter, but tight end hasn't really been that big of a weapon for us so far in this rebuild. I don't know if that's just how Carolina operates. I don't know if we've just been kind of lacking talent at the tight end spot. But that'll be something to keep an eye on. On the defense, the big changes in the secondary. Keith Taylor still in the squad, but he's going to be, transitioning a little bit more. He's the first guy to say, tap his helmet, head on the sidelines. He sees the talent that's ahead of him right now. Lowry needs to get on the field. Superstar Tongue needs to get on the field to continue his development. So we're going to see a little bit of a shift up there. Digazua at defensive end. We'll be interested to see if we can get any sort of pass rush out of him. But honestly, the big question for me on offense and defense, will Brian Burns show up? Because he needs to be good. He's a 91 overall, and he has yet to get more than like 7 sacks in a season. 2025, aka year 3, and not amazing, also not brutal. We're 3-3, and we beat the Atlanta Falcons. We can move for tied first place. We have a breakout scenario coming off a 34-14 victory over the Saints. And I'm going to guess Mingo? Mingo's in the slot. It is Jonathan Mingo. We gave him the reins to the slot wide receiver position over Adam Thielen just because there's been some regression there out of Adam Thielen. Natural regression, but he's still playing. And I don't really have any desire to necessarily move on from him until now, where we're going to set our national scouting focus to wide receiver. And I really do think, like, DPJ, good role player, good wide receiver too. Jonathan Mingo, a starting slot with upside. But I do think we're going to need that game changer. If we can find one of those guys, superstar, X Factor, on the outside, prolific. They don't grow on trees, but if there is one, we're going to see if we can find one in this draft class by setting our big region focus to the wide receiver spot. And we're able to get a nice victory, 23-17, moving at top of the division, which is huge. And let's see if we get the breakout here for Mingo. Looking to make the jump from star up to superstar. And the trend continues here in this rebuild. We just cannot hit our player breakout scenarios. Even though we finished the season on a 2-game winning streak with a really nice passing offense, Bryce Young is coming to his own. We have a top 5 passing offense, top 10 offense overall. Our defense took a step back, even though we have a top 10 rushing defense. Our passing defense, which was elite year 1, pretty good year 2, is one of the worst in the NFL in year 3. I mean, there's been some regression, I suppose. Dante Jackson's regressing. Von Bell is regressing in regards to our starters there, but I don't think it should have been that bad. They had a rough year, man. Gardner developing, 78 overall after his first year as a starter. Not bad. Maybe we got something there. He was kind of a wet fart of a pick when we used him as our top pick in our first year in the second round, because we didn't have a first round pick. Let's take a look at the stats here. And, did you see that? Not Dak Prescott. Did you see what I saw? Bryce Young, really nice season. 4,500 yards, most yards he's had so far. 34 touchdowns, 10 picks. Maybe a little high in the interceptions for Bryce Young, but I'll take that. That's a good year. 12-10 for Miles Sanders. Nice. Jonathan Mingo, breakout season. Threw him in the slot, 88 catches, 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns. That is big time. That might be a potential dev trade for him. When all is said and done, he's on that star dev. That could be superstar for Mingo, which I would love to see. Thielen, almost 1,000. DPJ with a respectable year. Gardner with probably the best production we've seen out of a tight end here through 3 years of this rebuild. Defensively, though, Devin White led the team, 100 tackles. Look at Brian Burns. We actually got sacked, but like what's going on? We got sacks this year, and now we can't get consistency. We finally get pass rush. Brian Burns heard us murmuring that we're going to restructure his contract. He said, yes, psych. Here's twice as many sacks as I've given you in the first 2 years. 19 and a half for Brian Burns, 15 for Frankie Louva, which is incredible in its own right, 9 for Derek Brown, which is ridiculous for a 3-4 defense. Well, maybe not ridiculous, but that's very good for a 3-4 defensive end. But like JC Horn got his 4 picks. I like seeing the Horn Dog, but we have too much talent in that secondary to be that inconsistent. Like, we should have no worse than a top 15 secondary this whole rebuild. For them to fall off a cliff this year, very disappointing. Patrick Mahomes ends up winning the MVP. In the NFC Offensive Player of the Year goes to Saquon Barkley. Mingo coming in at number 4. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Aaron Donald. Brian Burns coming in at number 3. He's closing in there. Offensive Rookie there goes to Caleb Drew. I don't think we're going to have many in terms of award winners, except Mingo. Best wide receiver goes to Jonathan Mingo. Love seeing that. That could be great for his dev trait. Brian Burns gets best linebacker. There's a chance at the double, man. Brian Burns, with his production, could get a dev trait increase. With the award of top linebacker, could get the rare double. It happens every now and again. And I'll just be happy. I think all things considered, Brian Burns missing the playoffs, down year. We can get him back up to a superstar. We're kind of breaking even, I think, when all is said and done. But very disappointing here in year 3, our first year of not making the playoffs. I guess we finished above 500. Our worst year is 9-8, which in a different realm, say we don't overachieve the first 2 years. 9-8 year 3 is not terribly bad for the Carolina Panthers, given where we started. The year pressure's on. Atlanta got the Super. Not only did they dominate 13-4 in the division, they got a Super Bowl. So now there's like a little bit of competition that we can't let the computer in my own division, in my own rebuild, win a Super Bowl, and we fail to do so. We got 2 more years. I'm confident our team's trending in the right direction. We got $92 million of salary cap. We should be able to do some damage. Looking at our own free agents, I think the Adam Thielen, it's run its course here. Appreciate everything that he's done. Bradley Bozeman, I want to upgrade at center. Matt Corral, some of the younger players. Taylor Moton. I keep thinking of him as turnstile Moton, but he's probably going to be like the best tackle on the open market, I assume. Give him that. He takes it. He wants to be a part of it. I thought that was going to be short selling a little bit. We got Von Bell at safety. A lot of depth at safety. He is interested in re-signing. I wonder if we can get him on a 1 year. Because then if we get him 1 year and there's an upgrade, you can always utilize a third safety somewhere. So we'll get him on a 1 year, and still that won't prevent us from maybe getting a good safety if that's, say, the top available player in free agency. The Horn Dog, JC Horn, absolutely get him locked and loaded 3 years. Integral part of our team, and we are clearly going to pick up the 5th-year option on Bryce Young, who's now an X Factor. Let's go. Let's look at it here. Offensively, Bryce Young up to an X Factor. Jonathan Mingo up to a superstar. Thielen did lose his dev trait, only guy that did lose one, and he's going to hit free agency. But Bryce Young, X Factor. Wow. We didn't even hit this with Anthony Richardson. So good on Bryce Young. What abilities have we got here? I don't think Bryce Young would be an escape artist kind of guy. I'd give him Omaha, I guess, if we had to give him an ability. Seems like an Omaha type guy. And on the defense, we've had some movers, some droppers. We have JC Horn, now up to a superstar dev. Love seeing that. Jeremy Chin, unfortunately, lost to superstar dev. Don't love seeing that. Brian Burns gained a superstar dev. Love seeing that. Shaq Thompson lost his star dev. But that is why we have Parker, the linebacker that we drafted, to be his successor there in the middle of the team. No one else went up or down dev traits, given the fact that this was a disappointing year, that we didn't make the playoffs, and no one really had S-tier seasons that didn't get a dev trait. I'm all right with this. Unfortunately, the first year that we have a lot of salary cap to spend, not the best role in free agency. Like we said, there was a really good safety. We could jump. Nothing in the safety department. If you want to add competition for Shaq Thompson's spot, nothing really at the middle linebacker department. Do we want a pass rush, especially like a 3-4 pass rush that can come and compete? Matabuke might be in consideration, but not that big of a drop off from Odigizua. So I feel like just kind of keep it as is. Maybe looking to add some competition at the guard spot, but like both the guards are nothing special whatsoever. What about that big X Factor wide receiver? Doesn't exist. Much as I would love John Mechie, one of my favorite players in the NFL. Not what we need. Not a needle mover for us at our wide receiver spot. So we're going to have to shift all of our attention towards the draft. So we need to do a little bit of research. We have a front office and owner, David Tepper, that's very aggressive. They showed that by doing what they needed to do to get Bryce Young. Now, we kind of said maybe the missing piece of this whole thing is like a true X Factor game changer at wide receiver. And what have we found in this draft class? But maybe that. 4 A's, catch traffic, catching, deep at running, release, top 5 in true talent. The physicals, not the best. Not the best, but I don't think we're going to find a player that is, he might not be S tier, he might not be, 86 or whatever, but this is a guy that could be flirting with 80. This is a guy that I'm assuming that would walk in and have a chance at maybe being our second highest rated wide receiver. So, I'm going to be a little bit aggressive here, man. We haven't really had the roster or been in a position to, like, trade really anybody, anything crazy like that. So maybe it's time to be aggressive here in the draft. And look, of course he's going first overall. Let's try to get that pick. And it's a division rival. What does Tampa want for that pick? And look, yeah, he's been first for a minute. Okay. Here's how I'm going to start. I don't know if they're going to take it or not, but here's how we're going to start our offer. I'm going to give him my first this year, my first next year, because we're not trading up for a quarterback. What would you, like, I'm thinking like Julio Jones kind of deal, but they didn't have to trade at number 1. I'm also going to throw in Donovan Peoples-Jones. They're interested in a wide receiver. He's an 83 star at 27 years old. Completely viable weapon. They still have Mike Evans. They still have Chris Godwin. And then I feel like to add some value, I don't know if it's going to be a big needle mover. My superstar corner, Deontay Tongue, is developmental option, more of a long-term play. We're trying to win a Super Bowl the next 2 seasons. I think that's a pretty good initial trade offer. They want more. I mean, at this point, I'm not going to be using these extra first-round picks, right? 20. How about that? I don't know if we can come with much more than that. What? 3 first? This wide receiver, if it's not like an 80-something, like, I don't know what else I can give you without taking like a step back. I could send you another corner like Fitzpatrick. You want to just completely rejuvenate your secondary? Nope. All right, we got it. Damn. It's definitely harder to trade him out at 24. So to get the first overall pick, we sent them Donovan Peoples-Jones, 83 star dev, wide receiver, 27 years old. So it's not like I'm sending them a guy that's regressing. This wide receiver needs to be better than this. Bare minimum. We sent 3 first-round picks, our second-round pick this year, and then our second-round pick. I mean, the 3 first-round picks, we're not even going to 2028. So, I guess that's a little bit of house money. So, essentially, in terms of what we're giving up for this rebuild, 2 first-rounders and a second-rounder, as well as Donovan Peoples-Jones to get the number 1 overall pick. I assume there was some bit of gamesmanship. They're a divisional rival going on. But when you get a wide receiver this good, I hope, look at that, how many offers it freaking took. I hope that the fact that he's not an S-tier athlete doesn't come back to bite us in the ass. This guy here, at minimum, needs to be better than Donovan Peoples-Jones. That's a risk. I mean, 83, but this is, you give me top 5, you give me all those attributes. Come on, man. Be special. If he's normal dev, I'm breaking this controller. Thank God. Hidden dev, DeAndre Redmond. We've been looking for that franchise wide receiver 1. And Minkel's up to a superstar, but, now he kind of showed that he's a breakout as a slot. Don't really want my offense to be built around a slot wide receiver. No offense to, like, Patriot fans and Saint fans and all that stuff out there. I mean Saint's got Olave now. But DeAndre Redmond, he needs to be a special player, man. I think he will be. We don't have a starting center, so Heath Calhoun looks like the best shot. Don't really have a whole lot of information, but he's a pretty good athlete. That usually tends to be what you're looking for. And there's a nice blind pick hidden dev center who's going to be a day one starter for us. And we have Mike Lowry from Bad Boy's brother, Chuck Lowry. Just third. What are you still doing here? 6'1", A catching, A press, B zone. Combine's not the best, but still, this guy's... Sure, I'll take him if no one else wants him. All right, let's go to the end of the draft. Let's see this, man. This is our biggest draft pick of the very early Madden 24 season. We sold the farm. We sold the farm. He has to be 80 minimum. We get the 80 minimum. So we are 3 overall points lower. So it's going to be the dev trade here. And it's going to have to be superstar. I almost want to say it has to be X Factor, given what we like. He has to be, if not generational, very close to generational. And cautiously optimistic that it would be. So that's still good. It's one of those weird spots where like he's the bare minimum of what I would accept as a good player for what we gave up. But he's still bare minimum. Like, I would have loved to be sitting here and like, oh, man, look at this fellow's 86 hidden dev wide receiver or anything like that. He is 80, but looks pretty good. Calhoun, 74 hidden dev in the 3rd round. Lowry, only a 68. Did have a hidden dev, but surprised with those letter grades. Wasn't any higher. We got a depth guard there and a 72 kicker. Did we at least get the highest rated player in the class? He wasn't a particularly strong class, but he was the highest rated. Second is Marco Walker, who went pick 10. Just to, I don't want to go see this guy have an X Factor or superstar. Then I'm like, oh, great. Pressure is on. If this guy's just a star dev, we can still have out hope that we have the best wide receiver in the class, which, again, no pressure. You need to be awesome. This guy has to be great. Year 4 for the Carolina Panthers, and I'm expecting this to be the year. I don't want to say it's the Super Bowl year, but this is the year that we're like actually good, not overachieving. Humbly, we are one of the top teams in the NFL. We now have an X Factor in Bryce Young. We've sold the farm to get what should be an S-tier wide receiver prospect in Redmond. Mingo's up to a superstar. Got a brand new center here. Offense should be trending in the right direction. Same with the defense, man. J.C. Horn, new superstar. Brian Burns back up to a superstar. Parker gets an opportunity to start over Shaq Thompson. Going to get a little bit younger at that position. But the offense and defense both peaking right now at the right time. This needs to be a divisional win. This needs to be double-digit wins. This needs to be a Super Bowl contending squad. Don't have to win it. Still got 2 years left. But we need to be getting back to where we need to be. All right, here we go again. Tier 4. 2-2. Not the best start, not the worst start, but we had a weekly award winner in our 24-6 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers, and his Frankie Aluvu. 6 tackles, a sack, an interception, a forced fumble, a little bit of everything, and I assume that this breakout scenario is going to be for him to make the jump from star up to a superstar. We've yet to hit a breakout scenario. How are we doing? It's actually Brian Burns. Brian Burns wants to become an X Factor, and with how he played last season, there's a reasonable shot that he can get that here. It's a tough matchup against the Niners, one of the better rosters in the NFC. We're both tied at 87, 2 of the top teams, with all due respect. But, at 2-2, our year's a little bit unpredictable. Yeah, there's a tough loss, 28-20. Does Brian Burns get his X Factor? Nope. Right for the midway point of the season, and we're 5-4, above 500. I think we're on a 2-game win streak, 2 or 3 game win streak. So, is what it is. We're being within closing distance of the Bucks. Don't know if we'll ever catch the Falcons, but it's all about just get me in the playoffs. That's all we got to do. Get me into the playoffs. Let's take a look at some contracts here. Week 11. Who needs to get paid? Well, Ike Ekwonu up first. They'll offer you whatever you want. $61 million. You're not going anywhere. You are a franchise tackle, sir. Don't love seeing Jonathan Mingo have very little interest in re-signing. But we're going to hit him with a very player-friendly deal, so we can't say no. Lock him in. Miles Sanders, probably need to get younger. Dante Jackson, we have plenty of depth in the secondary. Gonna get younger there. Von Bell, probably get younger, but like that's, I mean, worst case, we let these guys walk and we just bring them back off the open market if there's not upgrades to be had. So I think we're just going to chill. But I think at this point, What's waiting on my mind? What's on your mind? I don't know yet right now. What is the dev trait of the man that we sold the farm for? Let's see if we can probably spend an upgrade for him. He's been earning pretty quickly, so I'm hoping that he's at least a superstar. DeAndre Redmond. Okay, he's not an X Factor. Don't be star. Don't be star. Don't be star, dev, dude. Don't be star. Hey, there we go. Okay. Not generational player. I can live with the superstar dev. I can live with it. It's not the best. Wasn't the home run. Wasn't the grand slam. There you go. I don't watch baseball. Wasn't the grand slam we're hoping for, but it was still a home run for the win. We're gonna keep doing this because eventually these scenarios are going to stop being camera shy and they're going to hit. We got a nice victory over the Bucks to get back above 500, and this is a breakout for our nose tackle foot. He's on star dev, looking to become a superstar. 75 or less rushing yards. I mean, Alvin Kamara's still there, but he's probably getting up there in age a little bit. Somewhat attainable. Against a 3, I mean, honestly, dev trade or not, this needs to be a win. At this point in the season, it's a 3-win Saints, bottom in the division, and it is. Crushed them 35-7. Love seeing that. Hate seeing the Falcons 13-1. Yes! Finally, a dev trade. Robert Foote, our 99, once a rookie 99 strength nose tackle, has now become a superstar dev. Let's go. At the end of year 4, wow. I mean, we made the playoffs, 11-6. Feel pretty decent about that. Falcons 16-1. You know, right now, man, the Falcons were very close to being my main franchise here at Madden 24. Like, they were the runners-up. Didn't know they're going to be that good. 16-1, 4 years in. Pretty absurd. Take a look at the stats here. Of course, 3 best quarterbacks in the NFL. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and clearly Dak Prescott up there for the top of the quarterback position. Take a look at our stats here. Bryce Young. That's pretty good. 4th in yards, 2nd in touchdowns. Outstanding year by our X-Factor quarterback. 4,300 yards, 37 touchdowns to 4 picks. Just over 1,008 for Miles Sanders. I mean, low-key kids. Wait, look at that. Bryce Young with scrambling numbers. He's always gotten around, 300 yards, but I don't think he's got many rushing touchdowns in his career. This 5, an additional 5, man, we might be in the MVP hunt. Yeah. Look at that. Out of nowhere, Bryce Young deciding he's going to start using his legs a little bit. The receiving end, Mingo, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. The rookie, DeAndre Redmond. Hopefully we can get him in the Offensive Rookie of the Year conversation. That could be a dev trade increase. For our superstar, he's up to an 87 right now with the boost. He got 1,011 in his first season. The 99 speed, Frank Younger, proved that he's not just a special teams weapon. That's not bad for your wide receiver 3 Gardner with a respectable season. Devin White, 123 tackles, 6 TFLs, 3.5 sacks. We got 12.5 sacks, Derek Brown, 10.5 Brian Burns. Kind of like the minimum I'd be hoping these guys get at this point. Again, we'd like to see a little bit more just consistency. Like, how does Brian Burns go from getting like 4 sacks, 7 sacks, 19.5, down to 10? Let's get a little more consistency. 2 picks for J.C. Horton leading the team. No real ball hawks. Last year's Panthers franchise would be crying at the lack of interceptions from our current secondary. MVP goes to Joe Burrow. I don't know about that. Do a little digging here. So Bryce Young, 4,300 yards, 42 touchdowns total, 4 interceptions. 42 and 4. What did Joe Burrow do? He probably has his beat on yards. 41 and... Can't complain there. Can't complain there. Joe Burrow, he's very good in the sim this year, but I mean, again, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, so... Damn. Well, we got one more year to try to win MVP, because we did win MVP with Anthony Richardson. We never hit X Factor with Anthony Richardson, but we did hit MVP. Look at the rest of the awards. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Saquon Barkley. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Micah Parsons. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to DeAndre Redmond. Love seeing that. Parker Wiener. Defensive Rookie of the Year. That's tough. Best quarterback goes to Bryce Young. Ooh, close. That would have been a nice just award to win for one of our guys. But offense is firing, man. That's, you make the trade that we made to get a playmaker at wide receiver. You need your offense to be firing, and that's exactly what we got here. Looking to go on a little bit of run. Up first, it is the Minnesota Vikings. Josh Jefferson didn't even go over 1,000. I will say, right now, Madden 24, sim numbers, I don't know. I'm not in love with the sim numbers where they're at. I do feel like they're a little bit lower across the board, which, I don't know. That could be different strokes, different folks. Maybe that's against. Maybe people want to see more realistic. But I don't know. Frankie Lulu does get Defensive Player of the Week. 2 sacks in a win here over the Minnesota Vikings. Now this is a tough one here. But why are they 16-1? That's what I want to know. What has Atlanta done as far as a roster is concerned to go 16-1? Because like they're not ridiculously overpowered. I would have noticed. I would have seen like Atlanta crushing it all the time in my rebuilds. You know, this is just a hell of a year, I guess. Desmond Ridder, he had 99 Bijan, 93 Drake London, 99 Kyle Pitts. Okay, it's making a little bit more sense there. Offensive line across the board, probably an average of, 83, 84. So a really, really good offensive line. Defensively, they got Huff, Grady Jarrett. Defensive line, something special. Linebacking room is solid. Lorenzo Carter's up to an X factor. AJ Terrell, Jeff Okudah's developing nicely. Really, honestly, that's a really good team. Gonna be honest, I don't know if that's a 16-1 team, but they got a lot of star power. This is going to be a very, very tough matchup to get to the NFC Championship game. It's only year 4. It's not going to be the end of the world, but I'd love to get an upset. This would speak a lot of volume of our squad. Yes! Let's go. We upset these 16-1 Falcons. 35-28. Set up a matchup against another freaking... Oh, man. How'd Dallas get there? But damn, man. Look at that. Bryce Young, clean game. Desmond Ridder had the lone turnover. 82 yards for Miles Sanders. Bijan had 79 and a tutty. 90 yards for the rookie Redmond. Rookie of the year Redmond. Jonathan Mingo stepped up. 74 yards, 2 touchdowns. Defensively, we didn't get much in terms of sacks, but Dante Jackson, in his likely final year with the Panthers, trying to get a ring, gets a crucial interception. And it is, once again, this is our second time making the NFC Championship game. Those damn Dallas Cowboys. You guys doing a little Seth scouting. Great year for CeeDee Lamb. He's an awesome player. Dallas had a top 7 offense. We had the number 2 offense in the NFL. Dallas had a bottom 20 defense. Not a particularly impressive defense. We have a top 5 defense. All things should say we should win, honestly. But we saw what happened last time. We played Dallas. They beat us 44-7, and we're able to avenge that loss. And we're in our first Super Bowl here in year 4, 28-21 over the Cowboys. I'd love to see Dak have a classic Dak performance in real life, not in Madden. Because if it was in real Madden, he's probably had 6 touchdowns somehow, even though they just didn't count. He's getting too many. I mean, low-key, kept Dak low-key. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick for Bryce Young. Wasn't a perfect game, but got the job done when he hit. Mingo standing right. I mean, there's the duo, man. That's what we envisioned. They are crushing it. Defensively, we got a sack from Luvu and Derek Brown. And that is enough for our Carolina Panthers in year 4 to have a chance to win the Super Bowl. We are taking on the 1 seed from the AFC, Doug Peterson, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Peterson, Frank Reich. Storyline writes itself. Moment of truth. Redmond. This is when, if he was going to get an X Factor because he got Offensive Rookie of the Year, he would get it. No! Don't be frugal. Give me it. Just give me the dev, man. Offensive Rookie of the Year did not get the X Factor role. Oh, well. Let's get into our Super Bowl Media Day here. Sure, they're already asking, how's it feel? Frank Reich going up against old Doug. We're going to go just the beginning. Just because I always think this is a nice little, I mean, everyone gives you staff points, I guess. I was kind of hoping one option gave you staff points, one option would give us some sort of morale boost, but all right. Jags. Just a solid team, like outside of a top 10 offense, a top 10 defense. We're 3 overall points better. I guess they got Trevor Lawrence. What else? Let's get a quick scout. We looked at the Falcons, see what's going on. How did the Jags get here? Because they're a surprising team to be meeting in the Super Bowl. They got T-Law 99, ETN 97, Kirk's 95, Dotson, Calvin Ridley there. So they got Evan Ingram up at 90 X Factor. Harrison's 87. Really good offensive line. No one below an 80. Stevie Shields actually a guy I considered drafting. Normal dev, so I'm glad I didn't. I would probably just yelled at you guys if I made that selection. Defensively, pretty decent linebacking core. Javon Walker's up to an X factor. Tyson Campbell, 97. They get a 90 corner here. And Ramon Flynn, Cisco's a 90. Good team. Good team. Not better than us, but worthy contenders here in the Super Bowl. But my plan here in Madden 24 is any and all rebuilds you see. I want to win the Super Bowl in every rebuild. I don't think I've ever done that in any Madden. It's going to be almost impossible. But I want to get like a month. I don't want to lose. I don't want to have a rebuild where we don't win a Super Bowl for like until at least September. So there we go. We got an opportunity here. Year 4, Bryce Young. Moment, never too big. 2 very accomplished college quarterbacks here. Opening drive, we settle for a field goal. I mean, we're in their territory, but back. Oh, we get the touchdown on 4th down. I love it. Jacksonville able to respond. Doug's going to have these guys ready to play, but up 17-7. Looking pretty decent. We go for it on 4th down. But that's twice we've gone for it on 4th down in the first half. I love the aggressiveness of Frank Reich. Frank Reich is bringing out that Eagles, Patriots, that Super Bowl right there. He knows what it takes to win a Super Bowl. He knows you got to be aggressive. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Now going into the 4th. I mean, it's looking good, fellas. Barring an absolute collapse, it looks like we're going to be playing with house money, which we are. We got one more year to try to make this into a dynasty. Check mark, though. Bryce Young, congratulations. We get to see what the MVP is. Can't believe it. Calhoun, the center. Rookie center. Miles Sanders gets that ring. Gets another ring, right? He was on the Eagles team. Yeah, he was. Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence saying, hey, we'll see you again next year. Dapping each other up. Celebrate the golden child, Bryce Young. X-Factor quarterback. Gets his Super Bowl. Probably should have got the... Well, I'm not going to say probably. Joe Burrow had a great year. But argument to be made. Bryce Young should have had the clean sweep here this year. Got the MVP. Got the Super Bowl. Likely Super Bowl MVP. But that is the moment we all came here. Especially if you're a Carolina Panther fan. Seeing Bryce Young hoist that trophy in that jersey. And it came in year 4. So we have an opportunity to run it back. Year 5, win a second Super Bowl. And looking at the stats here, MVP. I'd probably give the MVP to Mingo. 10 catches, 118 yards. Looking at our squad as we shut the door on a successful Super Bowl season, but the work begins right away. Rent's due. We got to get a second Super Bowl right now. Calhoun was a hidden dev center. It rolled as a star. Redmond was our big hidden dev wide receiver. It rolled as a superstar. No dev trades up or down for the rest of the offense. On the defense, Brian Burns up to X Factor. You love seeing that. Foot got that dev trade in season to go up to a superstar. We did lose the superstar on JC Horn, but I'll take my 2 X Factors. That is nice. This defense is peaking. Going for a second Super Bowl in year 5. We're ready. And we're going to have about $50 million to try to get someone good on the open market if they exist this offseason. Also, because Dante Jackson had that big pick in the playoffs against the Falcons, give him at least a 1-year offer if he wants to retire, which he does, but we will let Sanders and Von Bell hit the open market. And for free agency, not the best role, gotta be honest with you, but we're able to upgrade at the positions that I want to upgrade at, hopefully, if we land our targets. Tony Pollard, big bid there from Dallas. We'll see. If not, we can probably always pivot back to Miles Sanders. Harrison Phillips, we need a 3-4 defensive end. Win now. We just need a guy that can contribute. 31 years old, but he does have a star dev and is a scheme fit. And then at safety to replace Von Bell, we got Ja Martin, the former rookie of the Command. I think he was a Commanders pick, but he's superstar dev. Sure, take a flyer on that. And we were able to get, Harrison Phillips decides not to. We get a new running back in Tony P. We got a new starting safety, but we need a 3-4 defensive end. Of course, that's dry. I mean, we could always just go back to a Digazua for 1 year. We can finally get Milton Williams. Let's go after Milton Williams. And we get Milton Williams. And with no first round pick, we're really in BPA scenario. And it does cut down to 2 players. One, I have Daniel Glover at linebacker. Just add competition. I don't really think any of these guys have a chance at starting. But Glover has A-zone coverage. Great athlete. Ran a 4.44 at his pro day. Top 5 in the 3-cone 20-yard shuttle at the combine. But, oh man, I don't know. I guess we could always have a little bit more competition for corner. And Timmy Perkins looks good. B catching, C-man, B press, A-zone, 6'2", elite acceleration, third in the 40-yard dash, top 3 in the 3-cone 20-yard shuttle. Oh, no, Dev. Not to just give the job away to John Martin. Got Kevin Johnson, B, C, combine. Actually pretty terrible, but pull the trigger on him for the grades, and he rewards us with a hidden dev trait. For final draft of the rebuild. Oh, Perkins. That's a little bit bummed out that he was normal dev, but a 78 corner in the 2nd round with no first-round picks. He might be the best player in the draft. Now we got to see, how does he stack up against the rest of the draft class? Okay, some pretty good freaks here. Corner has been very overpowered. 83 there for Lynn Daniels. That's borderline generation. I mean, let's go look. Let's just seeing what exists here. 6 feet tall, 83. I'm going to guess X Factor at worst superstar. Probably in line with like Redmond, what we had at wide receiver. And he gets the X Factor. But I'm not bad. No first round pick. And we get the 3rd best player in the draft class. Year 5 for the Carolina Panthers as defending Super Bowl champions. Here is how our squad lines up. We welcome Tony Pollard to the offense. Tony P, see if that gives us a little bit more juice than what we were getting with Miles Sanders back there. But Mingo, Bryce Young, and Redmond, those are the guys that are going to make it go. Our offensive line is very good, but the fact that we got Bryce Young playing like an MVP candidate up to a superstar X Factor, already has his Super Bowl. So I guess here in year 5, let's try to get that MVP season and a 2nd ring on that finger for Bryce Young. Defensively, again, good unit, great unit, inconsistent unit, unfortunately, throughout this rebuild. But here's how we're going to line up. Front 3 of Milton Williams, Foote, and Derek Brown. We got Brian Burns, Parker, Devin White, and Frankie Louvu. Round out the front 7. Job Martin comes via free agency to start at strong safety, taking over Von Bell. Jeremy Chin has been solid this entire rebuild. J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson, and Tung make up a secondary. Old Keith Taylor's still on there too. Bottom of the depth chart. Again, he's transitioning more into a player coach role, but he is a invaluable part of this entire team. Not just the defense, the entire team. He is the heartbeat of this team. Bryce Young said it himself. Keith Taylor is the heart of this team, and soul maybe sometimes if he's feeling like it. It's year 5. Let's get that 2nd Super Bowl. No pressure, because if we lose, we lose. We already got the Super Bowl. But also a lot of pressure, because I want to. And you watching this, you probably want to. Unless we lose to Dallas, then you're going to get a rant, which might be better, depending on if you're a sicko or not. Close out year 5 is defending Super Bowl champions. The fellas put up an outstanding effort, holding off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go 13-4 and getting another NFC South title. That top 10 offense, top 5 defense, even though it's just strictly on points because we're outside the top 10. We also get to welcome a new member to the 99 Club, and that is the man that you probably want to see the most in today's rebuild. Bryce Young is up to a 99 X Factor, leading the line here for the offense. And after Keith Taylor, the 2nd most important player on this squad. Take a look at his season stats, however. Not good, man. Not good at all. 3,800 yards, 23 touchdowns to 5 picks. Where did that come from? Like, it wasn't like we flipped the switch and just started running the football like crazy. I mean, he had decent rushing numbers again. Tony Pollard, 1,012. Mingo went off. Redmond almost went off. The fact that really with how limited it seemed like our passing offense was, I don't really know. I would say, again, just in Madden 24, some of the sim stats feel weird. Just weird, confusing in certain respects. 11.5 sacks Frankie Louvu, 10.5 Derek Brown, 6.5, and then look, 5.5 for Brian Burns. I don't know, man. It's like one of those things, if I had injuries on and like some of these guys were experiencing injuries, weren't playing full season, then it would make sense. But like these guys are playing a full 17 games here and getting weird numbers. Weird numbers. Especially like last year, Bryce Young was prolific, MVP-esque. This year, not necessarily the case. And I experienced that in the Colts rebuild, our very first rebuild. Some years, Anthony Richardson, I think there's probably 2 years out of that 5. Anthony Richardson went off as a passer. And then the other years, pedestrian numbers. Looking at the MVP race here, goes to Joe Burrow, who is very good in Madden 24. Obviously, player goes to Brandon Ayuk, Aiden Hutchinson. We got Brody Beck. Any Panthers? Hey, there we go. Lineman of the year, Austin Corbett. We'll take it. Frankie Louvu. Couple award winners showing up for the fellas. At this point, before we get our journey to, I do want to highlight the career stats. See who has done what in this rebuild. Bryce Young, through 5 seasons, 20,000 yards passing, 157 touchdowns to 31 picks. He's been great. He's been great. He's been fringe MVP. Had an argument to be MVP last season, honestly. So he's been, as advertised, up to a 99 X factor. Running the ball, well, our lead back for most of this was Miles Sanders, so we've kind of just not really had a consistent rushing attack. On the receiving standpoint, Jonathan Mingo at 370 catches, 5,500 yards, 48 touchdowns. He's been great. Tony P's there. Redmond in only 2 seasons, 2,100 yards, 13 touchdowns. Gardner at 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns. It's really not anything too crazy, too prolific. Very, very different than the sim numbers we were getting in Madden 23. That is for sure. Defensively, Devin White finishes his career over 1,000 tackles. We got 643 for Dante Jackson. Jeremy Chin over 600. 83 sacks for Ryan Burns. 64.5 from Frankie Louvu. 60 from Derek Brown. 109 TFLs for Derek Brown. 100 for Frankie Louvu. Those 3 guys, even though there's been some inconsistencies, generally speaking, they've been great in this rebuild. Dante Jackson finishes his career with 22 picks. 20 for J.C. Horn. The Horn Dog. And Keith Taylor made the roster, the whole video. That is respectful in its own right. So we are now waiting, kicking our feet up. Who are we taking on in the division round as we look to defend our Super Bowl title and win our 2nd straight Super Bowl, build a dynasty? Do we end this video on a potential sour note? Let's see. Actually, you know what? Here, let's do this. Let's give ourselves the best shot. We're gonna upgrade our players. This might be some big upgrades. This could be needle movers. It could also just be our depth players that are never gonna see. It's okay. 1 is for Redmond. Nice. Brings him up to a 90 overall. I don't think it's gonna be offense. It's gonna be a problem. Can we stop Dak Prescott going for 5 touchdowns? We are 1-1 against the Dallas Cowboys in this rebuild in the playoffs. We are. Let's set it up. They're not a bad team, 85 overall, but we're 91. We're definitely the best team in the NFL. Dallas has the 19th offense, 30th defense. Remember that. 19th offense. They're not scoring a lot of points. They're getting about 20 points a game, and their defense is arguably the worst in the NFL. Definitely the worst defense that made the playoffs. Carolina, top 10 offense. One of the best defenses in the NFL. We only give them 18 points a game. We're not going to win them all. If we lose this game and it's like 21-17, makes sense. And there you go. I mean, it was close. But, of course, yeah, there's Dallas. 32 points. Having their best performance all year. Hopefully they don't win the Super Bowl. 32. I mean, this would be absolute. I'd be raging right now if we didn't win the Super Bowl last year. And there's just, yeah, Dak Prescott. Doing Dak Prescott things. And, you know, hey, got to show you this. If you're a person that hates things like this, that, you know, the playbooks and stuff like that, you know, Madden 24 is not insanely different, even though it is, right? Because you're seeing weird sim numbers for most teams. There's probably 5 teams right now that are putting up weird sim numbers for the better, and then everyone else, it's kind of a mixed bag, which maybe that's what should be more in line, because in real life, it's a mixed bag. You never know what you're going to get. But, damn, man. 2 playoff games. Dak Prescott has 8 touchdowns, no picks, 700 yards in the wins against us, man. That's, you know, you figure the number 3 defense in the NFL would play a little bit better, but it is what it is, man. I've made my argument. I've had my rant. I'm not going to end on a sour note complaining about the Dallas Cowboys. I will say that I do have some very small, minuscule push, and I have reached out to the devs already and told them, don't make Dallas this good. You know, just come on. Everyone can see right through it. So hopefully, you know, we can get some tuning, a nice little week 1 tuning update, and you can make Dallas good. You just can't make Dallas S tier. That's the issue that we got going on right now. Because if you put anyone in there, it's not a Dak Prescott thing. It's not a C4 hates Dak Prescott. It's if you put any quarterback in that Cowboys scheme, you put Cooper Rush there, Cooper Rush is going to be playing very, very well. That is a problem. No one should want that, even if you're a biased Cowboy fan. But we end up with a Super Bowl title. We end up with an X Factor quarterback. Should I just I'm not going to relocate it. And I'm not going to be too salty about it. We are 2 rebuilds in, 2 successful rebuilds in, highlighting 2 of the best young quarterbacks in Madden 24. Anthony Richardson got us a Super Bowl. I think Richardson actually got us 2 Super Bowls, but no X Factor. Bryce Young got us a Super Bowl and an X Factor, and we had a ridiculous trade, multiple draft picks, selling the farm, bringing in a 9. Well, now at least he finished his career. in this rebuild. Hey, 92 Superstar was worth it. We had some of the fan favorites. Brad Christmason makes the whole rebuild. Chuba Hubbard makes the whole rebuild. The great Keith Taylor is somewhere buried on the depth chart, makes it the whole rebuild, and we saw some ridiculous seasons out of Derek Brown and Brian Burns. So I hope you guys did enjoy this rebuild. Let me know in the comment section below what rebuild you guys want to see next. There's no real team off limits. I've seen a lot of suggestions. Commanders is a big one. Chicago Bears is a big one. Atlanta Falcons has been a big one. Whatever you guys want to see next, let me know in the comment section below. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Trying to make a good go over here in Madden 24 season. So we're on to, I know, I guess our next goal is 165,000 subscribers. So that'd be pretty cool to hit that sooner than later. Leave a like and or a comment. Helps out the channel with the YouTube robots. That's what they're looking for. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. It's going to be a double header of uploads that you're not going to want to miss. It's going to be a kind of a beginner's guide. It's EA sponsored content. It's a beginner's guide. But then at night, I am dropping a drafting and scouting guide that you are not going to want to miss. It's going to give you guys a big time advantage in your franchises when you get hands on Madden 24. So I'll see you guys then. Till then, though, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya. Have a good one.